very good morning to you and welcome to Life in Style Thursday edition. That is Inspirational Thursdays right here on Life in Style. I'm about to go right there, but you know, control. Well, today is all about inspiration, motivation, and we've got an amazing show lined up for you. We've got the Motivate segment, we've got Innovate with Tendai, we've got Books and Blog with Catherine Mwangi, and we've got Make Money. We're going to teach you that, and we're introducing something very interesting. We're introducing Restaurant of the Week. So we'll be touring all over Kenya and beyond to give you that Restaurant of the Week. What is it about that restaurant that makes it stand out? All of that right here. Start us off is Motivate, and I've got Doreen Moraa in studio, and Doreen has lived with HIV and AIDS for 24 years. We are all about motivation today, so better sit back and be ready to be motivated. Welcome to the studio, Doreen.
Thank you.
You look lovely.
Thank you.
Your dress sana. We'll have a conversation later.
Usdali.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's talk about HIV and AIDS and your life. 24 years. How old are you now?
I'm 24 now.
You're 24.
Yeah.
So you've had this you've had HIV and AIDS for 24 years since birth.
Yeah, since birth.
Okay, let's start from the beginning. This definitely goes to parents and all to now.
So I was born normally, just like any other normal child. But in between the growing up, I was sick almost all the time. But then my parents never knew what was wrong with me. So they just kept treating me. And until actually at some point, my paternal relatives, they suggested like probably I was bewitched or something.
Oh.
Yeah. So they told my parents, why don't you slaughter some kagot? You invite the wazazi into the house. Probably she'll stop getting sick. So they really thought, you know, right now they were desperate because they were wondering what is wrong with me. And they did that, but
Slaughtered the kagot.
yeah,
Wakaita
wakaita wazee, lakini kawazee hawakukuja. So I still continued being sick until when I was 8. That was the first time my parents found out that I was positive. All along, they never knew what I had.
Was it one of the doctor sessions?
No, actually, I was sick. I had herpes zoster. It's an infection that affects various parts of the body, but this time it came to my face. So after going to the hospital, running lots of tests, nothing. So the doctors suggested to my parents that I get tested for HIV. Obviously, my parents knew there was no way I was going to be HIV positive, but they still said, it's okay, let me get tested. So I was tested and then I was found positive. That was when they were also advised to be tested.
How was that for them?
Now, you know, for them, I don't know, because that time
you were
I was 8 and all I know is I am always sick. That is all I know.
They had no idea that they were infected or
No,
one of
they
them was.
didn't have any idea.
Okay.
So, because now, you know, I'm baby number 3. We would have been 5, but one of us passed.
Okay.
Yeah, so now this is me, and you know, the first 2, they're okay. And my parents are wondering what is happening to me. And even my younger brother, the one who passed that time, was okay, though he passed because of AIDS-related complications.
Okay.
So after the whole testing and everything, my dad by that time was preparing to go out of the country. So him, obviously, testing was like mandatory. So when he tested negative, so the ball went back to my mom.
Yeah.
So she had to get tested. So she got tested, but after denial for a while. And then she found out she was positive, but she did not want to accept she was positive. So during that time when I was in hospital, when some nuns from Karen Nyumbani Children's Home, they came visiting. So they happened to bump into me in the ward, and then they advised my parents that they adapt me to the home. But then my parents were against that idea. They were like, no, my mom used to believe 100% I will not make it to this time.
What?
Yeah, so she was like, no, in case she goes to be with the Lord, then I would want her to be here at home. So after they found out I was positive, was 2 years later, my brother passed. So then my mom now, everything in her life like went haywire.
Yeah.
She actually went into alcohol because now she was stressed. She was thinking she was going to lose me too. So she actually had me baptized. Immediately I got out of hospital, I was baptized because she knew I was
Let's make peace with the Lord now. Okay.
So after that, we moved now to our rural home. So from there, we would come, pick our septrins every month from Nyumbani Children's Home, and then go back home. That was the trend now. But the doctors had told my mom, if I made it to 12, then I would be okay.
Yeah.
But before then, I was still in the, she might be going, she might be staying.
At this point, did you understand what these doctors were saying?
No, because all along they hid it from me. My
Oh,
parents,
they didn't tell you.
They didn't tell me. Now, you know, I've been introduced now to drugs.
Yeah.
So now these Septrins I'm taking and other supplements, I will still ask, what are they for? So because of the skin condition that had affected me, my parents told me you have skin cancer, but you'll get well when you reach 12.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. How does that make you feel now?
Okay, now I feel cheated, but it's okay.
Not protected. I think they were just trying to protect you.
Yeah, they were trying to
Yeah.
protect me because they also, first of all, by that time I didn't know what HIV was.
Okay.
So you see, it wouldn't have made sense to me. So after the whole going and coming, we finally transferred. We were transferred now to Kisumu. So I took my drugs in Kisumu for a while, and now when I was there, by then I was around 12. Once during those visits, I had my doctor discussing with my mom, and then he asked, when did you find out she was positive? So I was like, I am positive, you know. As in, you know, I'm on the doctor's bed, he's examining me, and I'm eavesdropping in this conversation.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, maybe I've had my own things, you know. So I just let it slide. I was like, probably I didn't get him right. But that was the first time I had. And because my science teacher had told us HIV is mainly infected through sex. So I knew I cannot
There's
be
no way.
positive. I can't be positive,
Yeah.
you see. So to me, I just let it slide. And then a year later now, my mom went now down. And then she even went into a coma. Now during that time, most people actually thought she was going to die. So after she woke up was when now she took me to hospital, to Kericho District Hospital.
Okay. You know, the whole time that your dad is negative, mom is positive. Of course, it affected her. But how was the relationship between them, and how come they, your mom never infected your dad?
You know, I think that needs a more scientific
Scientific way
kind
to
of
explain it.
explanation.
Okay.
But discordant couples are there.
Okay.
So they actually do exist, and they live well, but it also depends on the couple and probably the HIV strain the positive partner has.
Okay.
So all along their relationship was okay because my dad never left. He was always there with us. Sometimes he will take me to the hospital when he was in the country, but now when he was out, it
Your
was
mom.
all left to my mom.
Okay.
Yeah.
So first time you had, you were eavesdropping.
Yeah.
And then you heard about it. Did it disturb you then? And then
It
at what
disturbed
point did you
me.
get to, ask and be told the truth?
It disturbed me the first time I heard about it because now, I was trying to compare the notes. Now my science teacher has explained to us the HIV topic in class.
Yeah.
But the methods of contracting HIV, he told
yes.
us, do not match my kind of situation. So I'm like, I cannot be positive, you see.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make it sound very convincing to me and make sense to me, but it doesn't. So I just let it be. And I was like, probably just had my own things because my parents told me when I reach 12, I will be okay. Even the doctor said that. So you see, for me, I was okay.
Yeah.
I just knew, probably I just had my own things. So I never asked. The following year, after my mom now became sick and she was well again, when we went to hospital, that was when I was disclosed to. So the doctor, I was tested that day actually. I spent longer hours in the hospital. And I had already been used to going to hospital, but now you go 2-3 hours, you're done. Now this day, it's like we finished the whole day in hospital. Then at around 2, the doctor calls us into his room. He's like, Doreen, you're HIV positive, and you got infected from your mom, but now you're going to have to live with it for the rest of your life and also take drugs for the rest of your life. Okay, to me, that time now, it was, okay, yeah, I'm HIV positive, so that means probably I'm not going to get well anytime soon. But it's a good thing because I will miss school one day every month, and then my mom will get to treat me.
That's how you thought about it.
That is how I
you
thought.
even looked at it that way.
Yeah.
I'll miss school.
I'll miss school. That means I don't have to wake up early. And then every time my mom took me to hospital, she would treat me very well, like chips, chicken.
Yeah.
So to me, that was a good thing. As in,
Okay.
yeah.
So
when the doctor is telling me you're going to take drugs, I'm already used to taking drugs.
Yes.
So come on, let's get over this. So he told me, these are your drugs, but no, these ones were different than my Septrins, because my Septrins, I will skip them at times. I will just, my mom will be like, have you taken your drugs? I'm like, yes. And I say, oh, nishazitupa. I will throw them away, actually. So my mom, because she would come and count, so that way I won't get caught.
Yes.
Now, this one, the doctor told me, there's a specific time you're taking them, and you cannot miss a single day. Now, obviously, the excitement of now a new kind of a drug being introduced to me made me very adherent to them. For the first few years, I was so adherent. I took them every day on time. Nobody had to remind me. But then now going to high school, when I was that time I was class 8 when I started.
When you were given these drugs, you were in primary school.
Yeah.
Did anybody know, like your friends? Did you tell anyone?
No.
Okay, let's go to high school now.
Now I've finished class 8. Now I'm going to high school for one. Now I've been called to boarding schools only. Then my mom is like, you're not going to boarding school. So I'm wondering, why doesn't she want me to go to boarding school? You know, in primary school, we had a boarding section, but she refused. I can't go to boarding. Now I knew in secondary school I was going to boarding because I used to like the excitement of being in boarding school. But still my mom says, you cannot go to boarding school. Now, I thought my mom was the enemy because how can she deny me the chance of having my own box, you know? That was my...
And pangaing your clothes.
And pangaing my clothes.
To sabuni.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now she's saying you can't. So I felt really bad, and then I was taken to a day school. Now I was there for the first 1 year. I was going to hospital normally, as in nothing changed, because to me everything was okay. Now that was in 2007. Now we had to move because of the post-election violence. Now we moved to Kambani. Now moving to Kambani, now life became different. The drugs, they are different, and the schools, there were very few day schools, and they were very far. So the nearest boarding school, the nearest school was a boarding school. So I had to go there. So I was stressed because how am I going to take these drugs? Then the food in school is bad.
Yes.
I almost said, no, I don't want to go back. No, just take me back home, you know? But then I had to go to school. So I went. The first few years, adjusting was a little bit hard because, you know, you've come out of day school. Now boarding school, it's hard. And then if you have any medical condition, the rule of the school was to tell the matron and give her your medication. So she's the one who gives you this medication. And she has to know what is this medication for. Now you see, we were not ready to tell people that, because even my doctors had told me you should not tell anybody you are HIV positive. So now this is us. We have to find ways of sneaking these drugs into school. And I have to talk to my doctors that I only go to for my checkups after every 3 months, so that I go during the holidays. So I would come from home with my parents, either my mom or my dad. One of them will take the drugs for me, so that when I'm inspected while going into school, I don't have the drugs. But once he or she is in school, she will give me. I'll go with my drugs. That was how it worked.
And how was it? Did you forget taking your pills?
No, I never forgot. Forgetting,
and other girls didn't get suspicious?
They did. Okay. So they asked, this medication you're taking, what is it for? So now I had to come up with another lie. But now it had come from skin cancer. Now I was okay. Now I had a heart condition.
Okay.
Yeah. So now I had a heart condition.
And they believed that?
They did.
Okay.
They will even ask me the symptoms of this heart condition.
And you'd tell them what?
I feel dizzy, I feel weak. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So I had to, because I've been told, don't tell anybody.
True.
And then, now these are my parents sneaking food for me into the school, because food is not allowed. And then my peers are like, when your parents think you don't get satisfied in school.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I really can't tell them, but I tell them, it's just because they love me too much. But then they're trying to balance my diet here in school. So that was how we worked with them until the 4 years were over.
4 years, nobody knew?
Nobody knew.
Did you feel at some point that you were burdened with this huge responsibility?
Yes.
And you want to, just tell one person to encourage you, hold your hand, and did you get to that point?
I did. At some point, I actually did. And when I tried telling my friend, I didn't even tell her. I asked her, what will you do when you find out that your friend has HIV? And she was like, I will not even talk to her. So, you know that
your story, Meisha. Stigma was real.
It was real. So I said, okay, if it's like that, then I think my parents and my doctors were right.
Right.
Let these people continue knowing that I have a heart problem.
So by the time you're getting to Form 4, I'm thinking you were about what?
I was
18, 17?
17.
17.
Yeah.
17 years of your life you've never told anyone apart from your family. And this family I'm talking about is just nuclear.
No, actually, my extended family knew
when
I was young because my parents told them.
Okay.
And my aunt was in the presence of the test. She's a nurse, so she knew I was positive. Now, when I was a child, actually, some of my relatives used to treat me a little bit different. Because I would go to someone's house and then I had my own cup, my own plate, my own spoon. And then after we finish eating, they'd go disinfect the whole thing. So I'm like, what is happening? You know, but that time I did not know what was happening. Now, when I grew up was when I started understanding, oh, this is why they were doing this. Yeah.
Okay. You cleared Form 4. At 17 years, you had never told anyone this secret.
No.
You kept it to yourself. You felt the burden, but you were not able to tell anyone.
Yeah.
When was the first time you told anyone?
The first time I told anyone, I was 19, I think. I was 19.
2 years out of high school. Who was this?
It was a pilot friend of mine, actually.
Yeah.
I wanted to be an air hostess after finishing school. So I told him, I am HIV positive, but I want to be an air hostess. Is it possible? He told me, no, it's not. I asked him why. He was like, because you people always get sick.
Wow.
You cannot do this job.
How did that make you feel?
Very bad.
Did you tell them?
I didn't. I just kept quiet and I was like, come on. At the end of the day, I actually told him, I have not been in a hospital bed since I was 8. So you can't tell me that you always get sick. We don't. So he was like, I'm the one telling you the truth. So I was like, no.
So your dream career just died like that?
Actually, it died now the second time when I went to the school itself. That was when now it was buried. Because I went there, I talked to that lady and she was like, maybe we find you a ground post because your face has a scar and we can't, to be an air hostess, you have to be flawless.
Because you've got the height.
I was devastated. Like, I was like, is she serious? You know, she doesn't know my status. But obviously what brought this about was the HIV.
Yeah.
So I was really devastated. I was like, no, I can't do this. So I decided, okay, then let me do mass communication. So I went to an uncle of mine and I told him, I need your career advice. How about I go and become a radio presenter? I want to do this. He was like, no, you can't. So I asked him why. He's like, you know, when you become a radio presenter, it means people will know you. And if people know you, they will know your status. And that will become a scandal, and it is not a good thing.
You know, you've kept this secret for 17 years, which is more than the years that you are now. You're 24. So half of that is 12. So the most part of your life, you kept this story to yourself. At what point did you get to the person that you are now, and what pushed you to, you know, this is the biggest, you know, television station in the country, and you're here telling your story boldly. How did you get to this point?
No, when my 2 dream careers were shattered, I went home, and before that, the Babu Liliendo thing had come up.
What, Tanzania?
Yeah.
Yes.
Tanzania tulienda na kikombe tulikunywa.
Did you went to Tanzania?
Yeah.
And you drank Babalio. How much money was he charging?
Okay, 100 shillings for the cup.
Yes.
And the fare, my mom and I, we both used 20,000.
20,000?
As in 20,000 each, that is 40.
What was this cup supposed to do?
It was supposed to heal you, apparently.
I know that bit, but well, did it?
It didn't. Because, okay, my parents were like, let's go. You know, actually, I'm the one who pressured my mom. I was like, if this is going to heal me, then come on, let's do this. So we went. Babu told us very well, before you take the cup, actually, he addressed us. He told us, now, this cup does not heal. Your faith is the one that heals. Obviously, we had faith.
Yeah.
So you see, we had faith. So we went all the way, drank the cup, came back to Kenya, and we were still the same.
After how long did you go back for a test just to check? Because I'm sure you did.
Actually, it was like around after 3 months, and then I discovered it's just the same. Now that is the point I actually defaulted from taking my drugs.
You stopped taking your drugs?
Yeah, for 2 years.
How was that for you?
It was hard because
Were you now getting sick?
you know, I've given up. You know, literally I've given up, and I don't want anything to do with these drugs. And the first year, actually, I will go to hospital, pick my drugs, come, leave them at home. I wouldn't take them. So when my CD4 count went down, the doctors asked why, because all along I've been doing good. So I told them I also don't know. Yet I know very well what is happening, but I told them I did not know. So they actually were almost changing the medication for me.
Yeah.
And then now I stopped going to hospital totally. So for 2 years I was just out here. And then now during that time I was in school too. I did community development.
Okay.
And in that time I met a certain lady from the Teacher Service Commission. They have a wellness section that deals majorly with people living with HIV and affected with drug abuse. So that was the time she told me how I would feel to talk to people about my story.
Yeah.
Now this is me. I have gone to Loliondo.
What else have you done? I was about to ask you that.
Okay, except going to televangelists, nothing else.
You've gone to televangelists?
Yes.
For prayers?
For prayers. Thanks to my mom too, because she will be like, let's go, this one heals. So we will go. We will get prayed for, we will fall down, we will come back, and we will still be the same.
At this point, when you were going for this televangelist and Loliondo, you had hope. You had not given up. Then all of a sudden, all of that just went down the drain, and you're like, you know what? Kaenda venye kataenda. So this lady is the one who brought you back to, you know what? Use your story to inspire other people.
So when she asked me, during that time I was doing attachment there, I looked at her like, are you serious? As in, my doctors told me this is supposed to be a secret, you know? And by this time, I had only told 2 or 3 people. A few who had actually left and a few who had remained. So I was not ready to tell people I was HIV positive. Actually, I was never ready to tell anybody that I was HIV positive. So when this lady is telling me that I should tell people and inspire them with my story, I looked at her like, okay.
I need inspiration myself.
Yeah. So I told, but I didn't tell her no.
No.
She's my boss. So I just told her, yeah, of course. That is a very good idea. So she told me, write it down and give it to me. I told her I will, but I knew I was not going to do it. In my head, I knew I am not doing this. How can she tell me that?
Yeah.
So after, during that time was actually when I decided, no, I sat down and wrote the whole story for myself. Because all along, I have never relieved my journey with HIV.
Yeah.
So I'm here seated, writing, and I'm like, no. At some point, I was overwhelmed. So I threw away the first paper. And then she asked me the following day. I told her, yeah, I'm working on it. Actually, I'm like 3/4 way. I'll bring it to you. So I wrote a second one. And then during this time I read a certain story on the paper. And that story is actually what made me think like people need a lot of hope.
It's true. We all need hope.
And the hope we need is not this one of going to Loliondo. It is the one of telling you that everything is going to be all right at some point. So don't get desperate along the way.
It's true.
Yeah, don't be me.
We need to finish this conversation, but before that, let's talk about stigmatization. How do people perceive other people with HIV and AIDS, the infected ones? Has the stigma gone down? Are there people who cannot shake your hand? Do you go through that?
Okay, actually, the whole problem we have with HIV is stigma.
Yeah.
It's not the HIV, because when it comes to fighting HIV, we fought that battle, we've won it already. Because for the past 12 or 13 years that I've been taking ARVs, I haven't gone to hospital and missed a doctor or missed my drugs. They're always there. But why are we still number 4 with our prevalence rates? Because of stigma. Because people are afraid to disclose their statuses. I can't tell someone. I remember once, actually, there's a guy I was about to date. So I told him I am HIV positive. Then he told me, you're using that as an excuse to chase me away. So I told him, no, actually, that is the truth. He was like, then let's get tested. So we went to get tested. And then I told the doctor, just cut the counseling part. Let's just go straight to the test. So we got tested. Obviously, I was positive. He was negative. And then he kept quiet. Like the whole journey from Ngong to Nairobi, he was quiet. He didn't even drop me in town. Alinitia Halingam. Yeah, and he was like, see, we shall talk. And that is how he
Nothing.
went missing.
So have you ever dated someone complete, like, you know, I'm positive and we're good to go?
Yeah.
Are you in a relationship currently?
Currently not, but I have dated somebody and they knew my status, but he was negative. So
Okay.
you see, the stigma is the one that makes people think like, I can't disclose this to anybody. If I
Yeah.
do, they're going to discriminate me. They're going to live my life. So nobody likes a rejection.
True.
Nobody. And then
True.
especially if you're being rejected for a health condition you have, that is bad. As in, you just won't tell anybody, hey, I'm HIV positive. It doesn't go like that.
Yeah.
But if we reduced the stigma, if people talked more about it, because the whole thing about HIV is talking about it.
Yes.
Be open about it. Because if you open about it, you know, when HIV came into Kenya, people gave it the immoral face.
Yes.
So right now is a time when we have to tell people that HIV is not for immoral people. It can get anyone. You see, I was born positive. You see, that doesn't make it different. It's still
true.
HIV, it's still HIV. How you got it doesn't even matter at all.
Thank you so much, Doreen. It's been
I
beautiful to hear
appreciate.
from you. Keep keep the faith, keep talking about it, keep encouraging people, keep giving people hope, because stigma, as you said, is the one thing that really puts HIV and AIDS victims on the floor.
Yeah,
like you just want to stand up, then somebody's like, which is terrible.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I
There you have it. You've been motivated today. You do not go out there speaking about people, demoralizing people, stigmatizing people for the things that they're going through. It could be them today, and tomorrow it could be you. So let's encourage each other today. Let's motivate someone today. Go out there, give someone a hug, give them love, like Doreen has given us today. Sharing her story with us is so, so much love. We're taking a very short commercial break. When we come back...
One of the greatest joys in life, Catherine, is to be yourself, to find yourself, and to love yourself.